Good evening. Tonight's top story.
It's raining again tonight. The kind of rain that doesn't wash anything clean. It just digs deeper. The thunder rolls in slow, heavy waves like something ancient shifting in its sleep. I've always loved storms, until I realized they love us back. They say when lightning strikes close enough, it rewrites the air, burns new scars into the sky. But no one ever talks about what happens when a storm decides to remember you. When it finds your scent, your voice, your fear. I've seen things during thunderstorms that shouldn't be possible. Voices whispering through static. Faces flickering behind glass. Shadows that don't disappear when the light fades, they wait. Most people close their curtains, turn up the TV, and try to forget that every thunderclap is a heartbeat. But not me. I listen, because these storms, they carry stories. 3 of them, to be exact. Stories that were never supposed to be told. Stories that the wind still screams when the sky opens. If you think thunder is just sound, you're wrong. It's a door slamming between worlds. And every time it opens, something might slip through. The first time I realized that was the night I saw the visitor at the window. A night I'll never forget. Because that storm didn't just bring rain. It brought something that was already supposed to be dead. It started with silence. The kind that comes right before the sky breaks. I was house-sitting my grandmother's old farmhouse that weekend, an hour outside of town, surrounded by nothing but cornfields and crooked trees. The forecast said a little rain. They lied by midnight. The storm was screaming. The wind howled through every crack in the old wood. The rain slashed against the windows like claws, and the thunder. It wasn't just noise. It vibrated through the floors, through my chest, like it was alive. The power went out around 12:30. Everything lights, phone, heater, gone. Just me, a dying flashlight, and that constant rhythm of rain. I remember lighting a few candles and sitting in the living room, pretending not to be scared. But that house had a way of making silence feel heavy. And then came the first sound, tap, tap, tap. At first, I thought it was just a loose branch hitting the window. But the taps were too slow, too deliberate, like someone knocking. Gently, I froze. The sound came from the front window, the one that looked out over the porch. I told myself, it's the wind. It's just the wind. But then it came again. 3 knocks. Louder, closer. Lightning flashed. And for half a second, I saw someone standing on the porch, tall, still, head tilted toward the glass. When the light vanished, so did the shape. My heart was hammering. I grabbed the flashlight and walked toward the front door, whispering to myself like an idiot. Probably a neighbor, just checking in. But who would be outside in that weather? The nearest house was a mile away. Another flash. This time, I saw the porch empty, but wet footprints led to the door. Barefoot. That's when the smell hit me. Wet earth, and something else. Something metallic, sharp, like burnt ozone. I backed away, my flashlight flickering. The wind howled through the chimney, making it sound like the house was breathing. Then the tapping started again, but not from the front window. From the kitchen, I swung the flashlight around. Nothing. Only the flicker of candlelight across the wet glass. Then the flashlight dimmed, and I heard a whisper, my name, soft, drawn out. Coming from outside, I dropped the flashlight. The batteries rolled across the floor, clinking. "Who's there?" I shouted. No answer, just the rain, pounding harder. I tried to call someone, but of course, no service. That's when I remembered the old landline in my grandmother's room upstairs. I ran for it, trying to drown out the sound of the wind and my own pulse in my ears. The stairs groaned beneath me, halfway up. I stopped, because there were wet footprints on the steps. Leading up, my throat tightened. I hadn't gone up there since the storm started, and yet, the prints were fresh. I followed them one shaky step at a time. They led down the hall, straight toward my grandmother's old room. Her door was half open. The faint candlelight from downstairs flickered against the walls, and I could just barely make out a shape. Someone was standing by the window. Lightning split the sky, and in that instant, I saw him clearly, a man soaked to the bone, head bowed, skin pale gray, veins glowing faintly blue in the flashes of lightning. Water dripping from his fingers onto the wooden floor. He looked wrong. Like his bones didn't quite fit his skin anymore. I couldn't move. My voice cracked when I whispered, "Dad." The man lifted his head, and for the first time, I saw his face, swollen, colorless. Eyes glassy with the reflection of the storm. He'd died in that same storm 5 years ago. Struck by lightning on the back porch while fixing the fuse box. I never even got to say goodbye. He stared at me for what felt like forever. Then his mouth opened, slow, unnatural. His voice came out, but it wasn't carried by breath. It came through the thunder. "Don't go outside." Another lightning strike hit nearby, so close that the house shook. The windows rattled. And when I looked back, he was gone. The storm eased off after that. The rain softened, the wind calmed. I barely slept by morning. The world was quiet, damp, almost peaceful. But when I stepped outside to look around, I saw something that froze my blood. A massive lightning strike had split the porch post, the same one I'd planned to step out under when I heard the first knocks. It was charred black, the wood splintered down the center. If I had opened that door the night before, I'd have been standing right there when the bolt hit. The muddy footprints were still on the porch. They stopped at the edge and vanished. I don't know if it was really him. I don't know what storms can bring back, or what they take with them. But I do know one thing. That night, the storm didn't want me. Something else did, and my father stopped it. Because when the thunder faded, and the world went still, I swear I heard his voice one last time, carried on the wind. "Stay inside." They say thunder never strikes the same place twice. But that's not true. It strikes wherever it's remembered. That's what I kept thinking that night, as I drove through the storm. The world around me melting into darkness. It was supposed to be an ordinary shift. I worked delivery for a company that hauled late-night shipments between small towns. The kind of quiet, empty highways where you could drive an hour without seeing another soul. The forecast had warned about severe weather conditions, but I needed the extra pay. So I loaded up my van, checked my GPS, and pulled onto the highway just as the first thunder cracked above the horizon. The rain came fast, hard enough that my wipers couldn't keep up. Every few seconds, lightning ripped across the sky, turning the road white for a heartbeat, then plunging it back into black. I turned on the radio, trying to drown out the noise. Static, No music, no stations, just that hissing, broken sound that almost seemed to breathe. That's when my GPS started acting up. The route flickered, recalculated, then showed a blinking detour. Old Hollow Road, 5 miles. I frowned. There was no such road on the maps. But my main route ahead showed a bright red road closed flooding warning. The rain kept pounding. So, like an idiot, I followed the detour. Within minutes, the highway narrowed into a single-lane road, lined with pine trees that bent under the storm. The asphalt shimmered under the rain. The headlights barely cutting through the sheets of water. Lightning flashed, and for a second, I saw something strange. The road ahead didn't curve or slope. It just stopped. Then the next flash came, and the road was there again. I blinked, heart thudding. It had to be the rain messing with my eyes. That's when I saw the gas station. A single flickering neon sign cut through the dark. Hollow fuel open. An old-style station from the 60s, cracked pavement, rusted pumps, and a half-collapsed roof. But inside, I could see a faint orange glow. Relieved to see signs of life, I pulled in. The tires splashed through puddles that reflected the sky's lightning veins. The lights above the pumps buzzed weakly. When I stepped out, the air felt wrong. The rain didn't sound like rain anymore. It sounded muffled, like I was underwater. The doorbell jingled when I entered, but the sound didn't echo right. It was like the walls swallowed it. Behind the counter stood an old man, hunched, wearing thick glasses that reflected every flash of lightning outside. He didn't look up when I approached, just muttered, "Storm's bad tonight. Not everyone makes it through." I forced a laugh. "Yeah, I can see that. You got any coffee?" He didn't answer at first. Then he turned, eyes cloudy and distant. "Coffee won't help you if you take that road." My stomach tightened. "What road?" He raised one shaky hand, pointing behind me. "Old Hollow. Don't stop for anything. If you hear thunder behind you, don't stop." I glanced back. The front window showed the road stretching into the trees. But the lightning made it look like it was shifting. Like the ground was breathing. When I turned around again, the man was gone. The counter was empty. No door opened. No sound of footsteps. The lights flickered once, then died. I stumbled out into the storm, soaked instantly. The gas station behind me looked abandoned, the windows shattered, roof caved in, no sign of life anywhere. And yet, the neon sign still glowed faintly. Open, I climbed back into the van, hands shaking. Rain pelted the windshield, the wipers squealing with each pass. I wanted to turn around, but the GPS had already rerouted again. Urging me forward, the voice calm and digital said, "Continue on Old Hollow Road." So I did. For the next 10 minutes, I drove through nothing but darkness. No streetlights, no signs. Just the endless pounding of rain and the low, rolling growl of thunder that seemed to follow me, not from the sky, but from behind the van. Then, through the rain, I saw a light. A house, 2 stories, pale blue porch light, flickering. In one of the windows, a small figure stood watching me. A child, maybe 10 years old. I slowed down, trying to see better. Lightning flashed. The window was empty, another flash. The figure was closer, standing outside now, on the porch, head tilted. I hit the gas, the van lurched forward. The road ahead seemed to stretch and twist with each flash like it wasn't quite solid. The trees leaned over the road, their branches swaying in patterns that didn't match the wind. Then the radio clicked on by itself. Through the static, a voice whispered my name. I froze. My hands tightened on the wheel. The voice came again, clearer. You shouldn't have come here. I slammed the radio off. But the whisper continued through the engine noise, through the thunder. You shouldn't have come. Then, a blinding flash, the entire road ahead turned white. When the light faded, I wasn't moving anymore. The van sat at a dead stop. I looked out the window and realized the tires weren't touching the ground. The road was gone. Completely beneath me stretched a massive ravine, black water churning below. The van hung there, suspended, trembling as if the world hadn't finished drawing itself yet. Rain poured down, forming ripples that disappeared into the darkness. The thunder grew louder, a deep metallic echo that vibrated in my bones. Then from behind the van, headlights appeared, a second vehicle, an old truck coming straight toward me, but silent. Its headlights flickered like dying candles. Through the windshield, I saw the driver, the same old man from the gas station. He smiled, and then he was gone. The truck blinked out of existence. Only the rain remained. My breath came in ragged bursts. I slammed the gear shift into reverse. Nothing. The wheels spun in place, so I did the only thing I could think of. I floored it. The tires screamed. The van lurched forward, and just as lightning struck again, everything went black. When I opened my eyes, it was morning. Sunlight spilled through cracked windows. The storm was gone. Birds were singing. My van was parked on a normal road, solid asphalt, surrounded by trees. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely hold the wheel. The GPS screen glowed faintly. Destination complete. But when I looked closer, the last route wasn't there anymore. Just a single word, pulsing in the corner. Recalculating. I drove straight to the nearest police station. They listened politely as I told them what happened. The storm, the gas station, the floating road. The officer nodded slowly, then said, "Son, Old Hollow Road's been closed for 20 years. Washed out in a flood. The whole valley's gone." I told him about the gas station. He just stared at me. There's no station out there anymore. It burned down in 1968. He showed me an old photograph from their archives. Same sign, same name. Same man standing in front of the pumps. The same face I'd seen that night. I didn't say another word. That was 6 years ago. I quit driving after that. Sold the van, threw away the GPS. But sometimes, when it rains hard enough, my phone buzzes with a location notification. A route I didn't search for. It always says the same thing. Return to Old Hollow Road. And I swear, if I listen closely enough during a thunderstorm, I can still hear that calm, mechanical voice whisper through the static. Continue on your route. I've worked the overnight slot at WKRX 97.9 FM, a small town radio station, for 6 years. The pay is terrible, but there's something comforting about being the only voice awake in the dark, on stormy nights. When the thunder rattles the old studio windows, I like to imagine there are people out there, truckers, Insomniacs, lonely hearts, who need someone to talk to. Someone human. That night though, the storm wasn't just outside. It came into the broadcast. It was around 12:37 a.m. when the power began to flicker. The generator kicked in with its usual groan, lights dimmed to a dull orange. Rain pounded the roof like 1,000 fists. The air smelled of ozone and dust. I was halfway through reading the weather alert when the first distortion crackled through my headset, a voice beneath the static, whispering my name. The caller at first, I thought it was feedback. Then the red phone light blinked on. Line 1, WKRX, you're live on air, who's calling? I said, trying to sound calm. Static hissed. Then, faintly, he's coming for me. Her voice was brittle, shaking. The storm outside roared so loudly that for a second I thought I misheard. Ma'am, who's coming for you? Please, don't hang up. He knows when it thunders. A flash of lightning cut across the parking lot, throwing the world into blue-white chaos. I looked up through the glass booth window and thought for just a second. I saw someone standing in the reflection behind me when the thunder hit. The phone went dead. I tried calling back, but the line only spat out low-frequency static, like a heartbeat buried under noise. The broadcast changes 10 minutes later. My music playlist stopped playing on its own. Instead, an unlisted file queued up on the screen, something labeled storm_feed.wavii hadn't added it. The moment I hit stop, the entire console flickered. My mic light turned red, and through my headset, I heard her voice again. You can hear me now, can't you? I froze. My mic was still live. Who is this? I whispered. You're broadcasting. This isn't funny. He's here. He moves when the thunder hides his steps. I stood up. The hallway lights outside the booth had gone dark. Only the flickering blue from lightning gave them shape. Thunder boomed again, loud, heavy, and my broadcast monitor glitched, showing brief frames of what looked like a man standing in the transmitter. Room. Tall, featureless, completely still. When the thunder faded, the screen went black. The static knows your name. The power surged again. For a moment, every monitor in the studio flashed white, and dozens of caller IDs appeared on screen. All of them were the same number, -000-000. Every line started ringing at once. Phones vibrated. Lights blinked red. The sound was deafening. Overlapping static, echoing voices, whispers through the storm. I grabbed the headset, hit the main line. Hello. Who are you people? You left him out there. He followed the signal. When you speak, he hears your frequency. The voices weren't human. They were layered, distorted, like hundreds of people speaking through broken radios. I ripped the headset off and stumbled toward the glass door. But outside, through the window, the transmission tower was glowing. Lightning was striking it repeatedly, yet the metal didn't melt, didn't even shake. Instead, something black seemed to be crawling down the wires toward the building. The woman returns, then. Her voice again clearer. This time, he's in the signal now. You shouldn't have answered. I looked at the mic. It was off. But she wasn't coming through the console. Her voice came from the walls. I stepped back, staring at the soundproof padding, and realized the foam panels were breathing, pulsing with faint static light. Thunder cracked again, and there she was, standing outside the glass booth, soaking wet, hair plastered to her face, eyes wide, mouth open like she was still mid-scream. She reached out her hand, and for a split second, the overhead lights flickered, showing a reflection behind her. It wasn't a man. It was a shape, tall, angular, like something made of lightning and shadow. Every time thunder rolled, it got closer. The transmission, I ran to the emergency exit, but it wouldn't open. My keycard light was dead. The broadcast board sparked to life again, without power. Every slider moved on its own. The recording light came on, and through the speaker came my own voice, the earlier part of the show, replaying itself. If you're listening out there tonight, stay safe during the storm. Then, over my own voice, her whisper, you shouldn't have kept talking. The glass behind me shattered as thunder roared overhead. I ducked. Shards flew everywhere, and when I looked up, the woman was gone. But muddy footprints led across the carpet to the mic booth. The same chair I'd been sitting in minutes ago. It was spinning slowly. The aftermath, they found me in the morning, curled under the desk, trembling, still clutching the dead phone line. Power had gone out citywide. The police said lightning hit the station tower directly at 12:59 a.m. The strange part, the backup transmitter still broadcasted for 2 more hours, but not my show. It was all static. And if you turned the volume up high enough, you could hear faint breathing in the background. Epilogue, the signal still plays a week later. I quit the job. But last night, during another thunderstorm, my radio turned on by itself. 97.9 FM, dead air, then a single whisper through the static. He's here. I pulled the plug. But even now, when the wind hits the wires outside my house, I swear I hear it again, faint, rhythmic, like a heartbeat under the rain. And sometimes, when the thunder rolls, the lights flicker in the exact rhythm of that old broadcast. Subscribe for more true horror stories before the next storm finds you. It's strange, isn't it? How thunder used to mean safety. You'd curl up inside, close your windows, watch the lightning light up the clouds, and tell yourself, at least I'm safe in here. But after hearing these stories, you can't quite believe that anymore, can you? Because every storm hides something. Something waiting between the flashes. Something that remembers you. The thread that binds them, maybe you noticed it. The connection. A man staring through the window during a storm. A road that only appears when the rain starts. A voice that travels through static. 3 stories. 3 storms. 3 souls who should have stayed silent when the sky began to crack open. They weren't random. They were warnings. Every storm carries a frequency, a pulse, a vibration that echoes through time. Some people hear it. Most don't. But when lightning strikes close enough, sometimes the air itself remembers. And once it remembers your name, it doesn't forget. If your lights flicker right before thunder, don't ignore it. If your reflection moves just half a second out of sync during lightning, close your eyes. And if your phone picks up static while the rain pounds the glass, don't answer it, because you might not be the one it's calling for. I didn't escape. You probably think I'm just a storyteller, that I'm reading other people's experiences. But I didn't tell you everything. Last night, as I was editing these stories, I heard it again, the same sound from the third one. A low hum under the rain. My speakers flickered on by themselves. For a moment, I thought it was feedback, until I heard my own voice playing back, whispering words I never said. He's waiting for you to finish the story, and then silence. Complete, heavy silence, until thunder rolled in the distance. It's still raining now. The power keeps flickering. Every time it does, the screen lights up with the same phrase, recording, live feed active. But I'm not streaming. I'm not even online. Maybe that's the curse of telling these stories. Maybe when you speak the storm's name, it listens. And once it hears you, it never stops. So if your phone buzzes after midnight, and the signal cuts out, if your reflection looks a little too dark, or if the thunder outside sounds like it's echoing your heartbeat, don't say a word. Just sit still. Let it pass. And pray the lightning doesn't find your window. We think the storm ends when the sky clears, when the rain stops. But storms don't end. They move on. They travel from house to house, city to city, story to story, and now it's reached you. So remember, when the next thunderstorm hits, when you hear the low rumble crawling across the clouds, when you see the flash before the sound, don't look, don't record, don't listen, because sometimes the storm doesn't want to be remembered, it wants to remember you. Subscribe to Night Horror. Where true stories echo long after the thunder fades. If you've ever stood in front of your window during a thunderstorm, you know that feeling, that mix of awe and fear, watching lightning tear open the sky like a wound, listening to the wind howl through the cracks. But what if I told you that thunderstorms aren't just weather, that sometimes there's something else, something that listens back? Tonight, I'll tell you 3 true stories, each one happening during a storm that never truly ended. And when it's over, you'll never hear thunder the same way again. Thunder rolls, transition sound, the storm hit harder than any I'd ever seen. Sheets of rain, walls of wind. The kind of night where the world outside your house feels like another planet. I was alone in my father's old farmhouse. No cell signal, no neighbors for miles. Just me and the storm. When the lights flickered, I didn't panic. When the power died, I lit candles. But then, the first knock came, soft, from the window beside the living room. At first I thought it was a branch. Then another knock, louder. Then, a whisper, "Let me in." I froze. The voice was deep, low, distorted by the wind. Lightning flashed, and for one horrifying second, I saw it. A tall, pale shape at the window, watching me. I dropped my candle. The light died. Every flash of lightning showed it closer. At the porch. Then the door. Then right behind the glass. I grabbed my phone. No signal. The whisper came again, clearer this time. "You left me here." I pulled the curtain open. Nothing but muddy footprints led from the window. Inside the house, I followed them with shaking hands, until they stopped at my father's old armchair. And sitting there was a photograph. It was of him, smiling, taken the day he died, struck by lightning. Right at that very window, the final thunder cracked so loud, it felt like it split my skull. When I opened my eyes, the footprints were gone. But the chair was still rocking. Slow, eerie fade out. "He wasn't trying to come in," I whispered. "He was trying to warn me. It was 2:14 a.m. when the storm hit the highway. I was driving home from a late shift, wipers fighting the downpour, headlights barely cutting the dark dot. My GPS glitched static on the map, and then it rerouted on its own. Continue on Route 191, it said. Problem was, there is no Route 191. Still I followed. The rain was too heavy to turn back. A mile later, I saw an old gas station glowing ahead, lights flickering yellow through the rain. I pulled in. The attendant inside was ancient white beard, heavy eyes. He didn't look surprised to see me. Storm caught you too, huh? He said. You'd best stay off that road. What road? I asked. He pointed outside toward the highway I'd just come from. But in the lightning's flash, there was nothing there. Just empty field. I blinked. The station lights flickered. When they came back on, he was gone. Only one thing was left behind on the counter. A damp, faded map. Route 191 was drawn on it, in red ink. I got back in my car and drove anyway. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted answers. Maybe the storm wanted me to. The road reappeared in the next lightning flash. Old asphalt, lined with dead trees. But the longer I drove, the more I noticed. Every time lightning struck, the landscape changed. Houses appeared, people standing in the fields. Faces turned toward the car, and then a blinding flash. When my vision cleared, the car was stopped. I was sitting in the middle of an intersection I didn't recognize. Rain had stopped. No gas station. No Route 191. Just silence. Police later told me I'd been missing for 7 hours. They found the car idling on a road that doesn't exist on any map. But here's the part that keeps me up. Every time it rains now, my GPS turns on by itself. And the route it shows. Route 191. I worked the night shift at a local radio station. The kind of job where you speak into the dark and hope someone's listening. That night, the thunderstorm was relentless. At 12:37 a.m., the power flickered, and a strange whisper came through my headset. He's coming for me. A woman's voice trembling. Distant. Before I could answer, the line went dead. 10 minutes later, the station console turned on by itself. An unlisted file appeared. storm_feed.wav. I hit play. The same woman's voice filled the booth. He moves when the thunder hides his steps. Lightning flashed outside and in the reflection on the glass. I saw something tall standing in the hallway. When the thunder rolled again, it was gone. Phones started ringing, every line at once. All showing, oh 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 oh. I picked one up. You left him out there. He followed the signal. When you speak, he hears your frequency. Then silence. I turned toward the door, and she was there. The woman from the call, soaked and trembling, staring through the glass. She reached out, lightning flashed, and behind her was a shape. Something made of darkness and static, bending with the thunder. The emergency exit wouldn't open. The tower outside glowed white from continuous strikes. When the final thunder hit, the studio glass shattered. I blacked out. They found me the next morning, hiding under the desk. They said lightning hit the station at 12:59 a.m. Yet my show kept broadcasting for 2 more hours. All static. And beneath the static, slow, steady breathing. I quit that week. But last night, During another storm, my radio turned on by itself. 979 FM. Dead air. Then, a whisper, he's here. You think the story ends when the storm passes. But storms don't end. They move on. From house to house. From voice to voice. From you to the next 3 storms. 3 warnings. A man staring through the window. A road that shouldn't exist. A voice that spoke from the static. Each one touched by lightning, and once lightning touches you, it leaves a mark you can't see. If your lights flicker right before thunder, don't ignore it. If your reflection moves a little too slowly after a flash, look away, and if you hear a faint whisper in the static, don't answer, because the storm isn't outside anymore. It's listening, waiting, and when it remembers your name, it comes back. If these stories kept you awake tonight, remember this: storms don't bring rain. They bring things that listen. So when the thunder starts, turn off your lights, turn off your radio, and pray the static doesn't say your name. We can survive the storm. Subscribe to Night Horror, where true stories echo long after the thunder fades.